Are you ready for some football? Up next, the preseason preview for the Pac-10 football on the PCTV network.
Hello, everybody. This is Scott Furman for the PCTV network. Today we're going to sit down and talk with head coach Tom Barr of Owen J. Roberts High School.
Coach Barr, thank you very much for joining us today. My first question to you, Tom, is this. You've accomplished everything as a player in football. Even as a coach, you've accomplished so much. What's that burning desire that keeps bringing you out here that first day of August and keeps you wanting to be a part of football? I mean, it's been a part of your life for so long.
I think it's just the love of the game, the competition, and just being around these young guys and watching them develop. It's really neat to watch them from a 9th or 10th grader all the way up to a 12th grader and how well they develop into not only a player, but, you know, as a person overall. And it makes things, excuse me, makes things exciting for me and makes me look forward to this first day.
Coach, I know we know offense, defense, but they're all important. But which side of the ball do you feel you need to have success with this year? I mean, or has to really step up in order to help Owen J be successful?
Two things, I think, is our defense and our special teams. We got to do more. I've always preached that special teams will win 2 or 3 football games for you, and they haven't done that for us in the last 2 years. And special teams play an important role, and that's one of the things we're going to get focused a little bit more on. Look at personnel, make some changes, and in our approach of how we implement the special teams practice into our practice schedule, and of course our defense. By now, it's probably not a secret. We switched from a 4-3 defense to a 34 defense because we thought now we have better personnel for a 3-4 defense. We're learning the 3-4 defense. It's what we studied in the spring and in the summertime, and the kids seem excited about it, something different. So, but I think that's the 2 key aspects.
Okay, some players, coach, that has impressed you right here in camp, or there's something, progress that you've seen out of a player. Any of them you want to talk about?
There's a couple of players that are really coming on board here, are really stepping up. On the offensive side, you have Mitch Bradford, the quarterback. He was our starting quarterback last year, but his enthusiasm is great coming in. And then we have Colton Hainsey, our offensive lineman. I say offensive lineman because he can play center, tackle, guard, you know, where we want to put him. He's really excited about his senior year. And I would say coming in also, we have a young man coming up as a 9th grader. We're going to take a look at him at quarterback and also outside linebacker, and that's Dawson Stewart. Nice-sized kid, very excited. He's happy to be up with the high school team. On the defensive side, we have William Dawson. He's a kid that we love. He'll go through a wall for you. His attitude's just great. And there's just a couple of players. There's more players I could list.
Coach, my last question here. Thanksgiving Day. We know that you're one of the few teams that play that day. And people want to, get rid of it to play. Could you just tell everyone about your feelings and how you feel about Thanksgiving Day and what it means to you being a part that you've been a player, you've been a coach?
I tell you what, I look forward to Thanksgiving Day. I love getting up early in the morning at 6 o'clock, going for breakfast, coming to the school, opening up the locker room, watching the kids walk in. It just gives me so many great memories when I played on Thanksgiving Day. I'm very excited about Thanksgiving Day. I know there's some things about, like, it's starting to drop to the side just because of the gap, PIAA, and the gap from when we play our last game to Thanksgiving Day. And I know it's going to be more difficult to find a team in between, a contingency plan for that. I know it's very difficult. I hope it doesn't go away because I really love the game playing Thursday morning. And I think everybody that came through O&J understands that and that played in the game.
Coach Barr, thank you very much.
Thank
Good luck
you.
this season.
Thank you very much.
Today we're going to sit down and talk with the head coach from Pottstown High School, Don Gristed. Coach, thank you very much for joining us today.
No problem.
My first question for you, Coach, is this. Coach, when you sit down at the end of the year and you look back over this year, what are some of the goals that you have right now, and again, people have them individually and team,
Right.
but that you hope that you can look down at the end of the year, look back and say, okay, we've reached this goal. What are some of those goals?
Well, I think mostly we want to be consistent as a football team and as a program. We want to keep consistent kids in our program. We want to keep the right kind of kids in our program. And I think when we finished last year, we realized that was a goal that we needed to accomplish. We needed to get kids to buy into the offseason. We needed to get them to buy in to what that meant as far as conditioning and all those things with your body as well as your mind from an X and O standpoint. And when I look at it right now, I feel like we did a really good job of keeping kids involved, the main kids that wanted to be here and wanted to be a part of the program. We were looking for consistency on all levels. And I think that was the main thing we were looking for improvement in and we were looking to maintain. You know.
Coach, we talked about Thanksgiving Day, and so I just got done with Coach Barr. We were talking about, one of those things, playoffs, too far into it, too late after the season, but your feelings about Thanksgiving Day football?
Well, first of all, I think it's special. I think Thanksgiving Day is special, and especially in this community and along with ONJ, I think it's a very special time for the community, and I think everybody enjoys that game. It's one of those things where it's a little tough from a logistical standpoint to get ready for the season when the regular season ends 3 weeks before that game. So it gets a little tough from a coaching standpoint on balancing practices and those kind of things and taking care of the kids' body. But I think it is special. I think the game is special. I think the communities obviously support the heck out of it. I think last year was what our 50th game or so, 55th game or some sort. So I think it's a special time and the kids really enjoy it. They look forward to it.
Coach, some players in camp right now that you've been impressed with their progress, or some players that have certainly shined for you. You want to talk about some of that?
Absolutely. Our quarterback, Gary Wise. Gary Wise was a first-year starter last year, and we kind of threw him in, and he learned. He took a lot of bumps. He took a lot of bruises. He's a mentally tough kid. He's a physically tough kid, and he's a kid that so far through camp has really led us. And I'm looking for him to really lead our football team this year. On the other side of that, we have a running back and a safety whose name is Brandon Tenson. And I think Brandon's going to be a special player in the Pac-10. He's only going to be a junior this year. Last year he was a sophomore, and he was the honorable mention All Pac-10 player as a safety. I think this year, I think he's going to be a special kid. I think he's going to be one of the better defensive backs in our conference.
Coach, go by Griggs Field. I'm used to Friday night.
Yeah.
You come out, you smell the concession stand. This year different, no lights. Does that have an impact on your team, or have you addressed that with your team about, hey, now we're Saturday, not Friday nights anymore?
I have, but we have a model. If we can control it, we do. If we can't, we move on. And that's what this situation is. It's an unfortunate situation. With the polls having to come down, they were right. It's in the best safety and the best interest of everybody for us to do it this way. And when we raise the funds and when we're able to get those polls up, we will. And what I've told the kids is basically we can't control it. And if we can't control it, we don't worry about it. The game's going to be played on Saturday afternoon. On Saturday afternoon, there's going to be 7 teams that show up to our stadium this year and ready to play football. And they're not going to care whether it's Friday at 7 o'clock or Saturday at 1 o'clock. We got to be ready to play, and we got to have some mental toughness to get through it. Friday nights are special. They are a special time. It's a reason why it's called Friday Night Lights. It's a reason why it's so special to kids, and it's so special to a community. I'm from a very, very football community like Pennsylvania. I'm from Ohio, and Fridays are special, and there's no doubt about that. But at the same time, if you can't control it, you can't spend time worrying about it, and we can't control the situation. We got to show up, get ready to play on Saturday mornings.
Coach, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Good luck this season.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hello, this is Scott Furman for the PCTV Network. Today we sat down with Upper Perk head coach Tom Hunt.
Coach, thank you very much for joining us today. I appreciate it. My first question to you is this, Coach. Okay, we know all the accolades of the wrestling coach, Hall of Fame coach. What made your decision or what went into it to be a head football coach?
I've been coaching at Upper Perk here at various levels for about the past 20 years, and I've always wondered if I could actually run this show as well, and after 24 years on the mats, when this opportunity came up, I really wanted to seize it. Upper Perk's been struggling the past couple of years in the football, and I wanted to see if I could help and try and turn this thing around.
Okay, that first Monday, the team came together. What was your message to the team about this upcoming season?
Well, I said, as a long-time wrestling coach, we're going to change things in regards to our approach. We're going to be a well-conditioned team. We're going to change the attitude in regards to our approach towards things. And honestly, we're not the biggest school, but we can certainly scrap with people, and that's what our message is, that we want to just be respectable.
Okay, some players, Coach, that have impressed you, or some players that have stood out in camp to you. You want to talk about some of that?
Absolutely. Mike Felix is he's going to be a dynamic back and defensive player. He's a really tough two-way player. I think he's going to be one of the tops in the league, actually. We've got some strong linemen in Malin Schaefer and Dylan Crissette and Mitch Fretz. Those guys are really doing the job for us. And, you know, I'm anxious to see what Jake Peary does on defense this year. And our quarterbacks, we've got some real nice depth with the quarterbacks. Got junior Jake Breyer battling it out with sophomore Zeke Hallman, and even a freshman Tyler Kaiser who shows real potential.
Coach, I know, again, there's three sides of the ball we talk about: offense, defense, special teams. But which one do you feel that you guys really have to do a good job at to compete in this league?
We've had problems past few years on defense in regards to just making sure tackles and things, and that's something we've really emphasized in camp, is working on our tackling and you know, just swarming after the ball and being more physical on defense. So that's the point of emphasis we've really worked on.
Okay, Coach, football season ends. They're up in that room up there grappling. What's going to be the emotions of Coach Hans when he...
I'm still going to be around. Wrestling will always be my first love. My son is actually wrestling in the youth program, so I'll be involved with that over at Springford. And they're talking me into coaching the middle school program here, so I'm going to probably help out with that as well. The nice thing is the two sports sort of lend each other and help each other out, and if I can get some of these football players on the mats and vice versa, both programs will thrive.
Coach, thank you very much and good luck this season.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Today we're going to sit down with the head coach of Boyertown High School, George Parkinson.
Coach Parkinson, thanks for joining us today. Here's my question, my first question, Coach. You've been successful. You've turned around the St. Pius X program, now taking on the Boyertown program. What would be your message to a person or a young person trying to get into being like a head coach of a high school team? Like, what would you say to that person?
Well, I think experience is important. I think they need to, really learn the game first before they would take that over. I think you have to have a passion for it, for sure. There's no doubt about that. And then just climbing the ladder, paying your dues and climbing the ladder. And I think the biggest thing really is just the passion of it. I mean, I think that's what it was for me. It was really the passion for the game and just the love of the game and the will to the want to make a difference in people's lives, and in players' lives. So, as long as that is the root of his desire to coach, I think that he could be successful.
Coach, you talked to your team about team unity. I know that's one of your things you've been preaching to your team. How do you go about building team unity? What are some things you do as a coach to make sure that's taken care of?
Well, I emphasize it at all times. I'm always talking about team constantly. We do team building things together, and for instance, at camp we gave out these shirts that had large team and a little me, just to emphasize that it's about the team and not me. The first morning at camp, I went over, probably spent about 45 minutes on team, just talking about the, being a team and what it means to sacrifice for one another, and it can't be a selfish game. It has to be about sacrifice, has to be about the team in order to be successful. And for the most part, they're starting to buy into it. It ain't something that's going to happen overnight. A lot of different personalities, a lot of different players, and some players have been through, a different coach and different systems and different philosophies. And so it's taken time, but it's working. And I think when it finally does come together, you'll see it click. And but I think that's the most important thing, just the team aspect of it.
Coach, can you talk about some players that you've been happy with their progress or what you've seen in camp so far? Can you mention some of them?
Still actually getting to know some of them, and we're still got a lot of positions that are still being competed for. I wouldn't say that there's really no position that's solid completely that someone's won overall. We don't have, I think we only have one or two players that have varsity experience from last year, Justin Sejak and Mike Murphy. I think Devin Bucks has some experience as well, but he was injured, I think, halfway through the year. So as far as we just need to continue to work with those guys and get them better and get them acclimated to our system. And sooner that happens, the better off we'll be.
Okay, Coach, you'll sit down at the end of the season, and when you look back, what will determine, like obviously we know wins and losses, that's how everybody looks, but as a coach we know it's different, how you look at your program, but when you look back, what would determine to you if it was successful or not?
Certainly if we came together as a team. Just because you come together as a team doesn't mean you're going to win all your games. But if we played as a team, we gave everything we had, we did our best, we can honestly walk away and say that. I can say that it was a successful season, because off of that you can continue to build. You're building a program. It's not going to, you're not going to have success overnight. It takes time, depending on how quick this team buys into this whole new system, way of doing things. I think will determine, our success. I don't think you need to be the biggest, the fastest, the strongest, but I think you need to have that. Yeah, as all coaches say, you have to play with that heart, but you have to be willing to sacrifice, and it can't be about me. It can't be a selfish thing. So I think, I look back and just say, if we gave it our all, we came together as a team, we played as one, look back and the players had a good time, I could say that it was a successful season.
Coach, thank you very much. Good luck this season.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Today we're going to sit down with the head coach of Methacton High School, Paul Lapree.
Coach, thank you very much for joining us today.
My pleasure,
My first
Scott.
question, Coach, again, this is like your fourth year into this program that you had so far.
Beginning my fifth year as head
fifth
coach,
year.
right.
Is the program at where you'd like it to be right now? And obviously I know championships, wins, losses, we always talk about that. But as a coaching point, is it the program where you want it to be right now?
Well, it's progressed the way I was hoping it would. This last year was our third winning season in a row, and we had 2 6-5 seasons previous to last year being 7-4. And I really think that, or hope that, it would be something that the kids would continue to try to build on. Because I think since I took over, it's been that building process to try to regain that consistency that Methacton used to have years ago, with being a winning program.
Coach, fast starts. The last 2 years. I know you've talked
Right,
about
sure.
it. Okay, how do you get to your team though to talk to them about, we need to start faster. We need to have those wins early in the season instead of waiting until the end or the middle and we start picking
Right.
up our momentum.
Well, I think we've talked to the kids about that and saying that we need to be in mid-season form at the beginning of the season this year. We were a win away from making the playoffs last year, and the difference was the start. So I feel like the kids have really bought into that. They've been working hard at camp, even though our numbers due to some injuries and the stomach flu that was going around, really put a lot of guys off the field. The guys that are still out there have been working really hard, and I really do believe that we are ahead of where we were at this point over the last couple of years.
Coach, a couple players in camp that you've been impressed with or you like the progress you've seen on them. You want to talk about a few of them?
Well, I think in general, I've really been impressed with the consistency of our skill guys, led by Akeem Walcott, who's going to be a 3-year starter for us this year on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. Connor Derrickson, our quarterback, started the third game of the year last year, and he's really doing a nice job for us at this point. Louis Catetta, there's a whole host of skill guys that I think Methacton isn't normally blessed with that we have to choose from this year. So, and we have a veteran offensive line. We have 4 guys back out off of last year's team, and they're doing a nice job as well.
Coach, Saturdays, we just talked about it, we're joking about you play on Saturdays. Do you feel
Sure.
as though that's an advantage for Methacton,
I
playing
do.
on Saturdays?
I do. We're about the only team in the league that does on a consistent basis between us and, as you said, PJP and of course now Pottstown with losing their lights for the year. But these guys, I think football players are creatures of habit, and coaches have their schedule, and when you've got 8 or 9 of the teams in the league practicing, for Friday nights, and then they've got that extra day that they've got to plan something for and do something with, you know. And then to come out over here on a Saturday afternoon, get up early, get on the bus, you know, go through that kind of thing. I know coaches are always telling me when they get here, you know, we hate coming over here. So, you know, certainly an advantage when the coaches are telling you that, you know. We hate coming over here on a Saturday, and it's hard to get our kids up and prepared because they're used to coming in, watching film or doing whatever on Saturday, and then, you know, having the rest of the weekend off. So certainly I believe it's an advantage.
All right. Coach, thank you very much.
Scott,
Good luck
thank you.
this season.
All right, thank you.
Today we're going to sit down with the head coach at Pope John Paul, Coach Rory Graver. Coach, thank you very much for joining us today. My first question is, Coach, when this job opened up, what enticed you, or what did you look at to say, hey, I'd like to be the head coach at Pope John Paul?
Well, I spent 3 years here, the first 3 years here with Mike. You know, I really enjoyed working here at the school. It's a great school. I really enjoyed working with the players here.
Coach, goals for your program. Like, what are some of the goals that you have, again, coming in as a new coach? You want to establish some things, but what are some goals you have for your program?
Well, our goals are pretty simple. We take it one day at a time. I tell our players every day we want to get better each day and compete to the best of our ability each day.
Okay, Coach, some players in camp that you've been very happy with their progress, or you like what you've seen, you want to talk about some of them?
So far, you know, our senior leadership's been great. We're real happy with our seniors. We have 13 of them. We have 3 captains this year. Matt Mazaris, who's competing right now for the quarterback spot. He can also play receiver for us, free safety. Our junior receiver, Jared Lupo, is also going to play corner for us. And our senior offensive lineman, defensive lineman, Joe Greenwald.
Coach, your situation is a little unique. You're pulling from athletes from all different areas. Does that create problems for you, or there's, like, for you, is that a different situation for having athletes being pulled from different areas?
No, I think, you know, I think it's a positive for us. You know, it's a good thing. We get all the kids in here, we build them as a team, and, you know, we come together over these first couple of weeks.
How about playing on Saturdays, Coach? Advantage, disadvantage?
I think it's an advantage for us playing here. You know, I love playing home games here. You know, but, you know, you can't be playing under those lights on Friday either.
Coach, thank you very much for
Thank
your time
you very
today.
much.
Good luck this season.
Thank you.
Today we're going to sit down with the head coach of Perkiomen Valley High School, Scott Reed. Coach, thank you very much for joining us today. I appreciate it. We got to talk about last year. Let's get over it, okay? The excitement from last year, obviously what the program, what your team did. How do you talk to everyone, the fan base, players, about moving on? Like, this year's a new year, and how do we forget last year and move on to this year?
Yeah, it's funny. Everybody keeps talking about rebuilding, and you know, I always say rebuilding, reloading. I think in high school football, you have to be fair to your seniors who've played for you for 3 years and say, we're coming out to compete. We're not reloading, we're not rebuilding, we're coming out with a new look to come out and compete with the crew we have. Obviously last year was a lot of excitement. I think the kids enjoyed it, and I hope the young kids got to see what it's like to be around the district playoffs, to play in big games and to win in big games, and we're hoping that carries over to this season.
Coach, the spread offense, you ran it last year, very effective for you. What were some of the advantages for you last year running that spread offense?
Rashawn Stewart.
One big advantage?
Well, I think an advantage for us as being quad A is we got a good amount of numbers who can play. We had only 3 guys going both ways last year, so the tempo was high. We won't be going up tempo. We'll still be in the no-huddle look with a spread look, but you'll see more two-back out of us. You'll see us trying to run the ball a little bit more, and hopefully we can be effective in a different way. And moving around and stuff like that, and try to get the defense off balance with more of shifting and motioning rather than just going tempo.
Coach, some players in camp that you've been very happy with, their progress, their play. Name some of them.
Brett Capabianco is a kid who's been moved around a million times just because he's doing so great, and he's going to play inside backer for us. He's had an unbelievable camp. I think our quarterbacks have done a nice job. Steven Sturm is a sophomore, shown us a lot. Justin Jaworski's a point guard from our basketball team, another sophomore who's had an amazing camp and has been here every day. And the obvious is Seth Jonathan, who's been a stalwart every day at camp. He's grinding through it, but he's been outstanding for us.
Coach, you mentioned earlier, the Rock. Come on, now, again, we all want to forget that, but how do you replace a player? The 2-time MVP of the league? Like, how do you replace someone like that?
Well, you don't replace it. You just got to look at what you have, the hand you're dealt, and it's got to change. Our offense was based a lot around him last year, where this year our offense needs to be based around a team, and we got to involve a lot more people. And so we don't want to put as much pressure on just the quarterback position as much as we want to put it on the offensive line, the running backs, and the receivers as a group. Defensively, he's forgotten because the stats don't show up on defense. But again, you got to replace that guy with a safety who's going to be vocal and going to line everybody up and get them where they need to be, because a lot of people forget he was first team both ways. So he was our quarterback on defense. So we got a lot to work on, and that's what these scrimmages are big for, and we're trying to practice hard. And I mean, I got to understand, we're going to make mistakes, and just like hopefully they're aggressive mistakes, and hopefully we continue to get better. That's what we need to do every day, is get better.
Coach, thank you very much for your time today.
No problem.
Today we're going to sit down with Springford head coach Chad Brubaker. Coach Brubaker, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
My first question to you is, for any young man out there sitting here watching this, they put on the Springford helmet. What's expected of a young man that's going to put on a Springford football helmet under Coach Brubaker?
Well, I mean, we expect commitment, and what that means to us is, you know, we want our kids to play as many sports as they want to play. But when they're not in a sport, they're with us. They're in the weight room, you know, becoming a stronger, faster athlete. And you know, we just expect kids to be here, be involved, you know, be present. And you know, we've done a really good job of keeping kids around. That want to be around and helping them out, and you know, you're going to get commitment from the coaching staff. If you give that commitment, you're going to get commitment from the coaching staff to stick by you and try to help you become a better person and a better football player, obviously.
Coach, hurry up offense.
Yeah.
A little change up for you this year.
It is.
Excited about it? What are the advantages? Why the change up?
Well, we have a different team than we've had before. I mean, we really, you know, we've been fortunate in that we've had some featured tailback type kids, and you know, we don't have that on our roster this year. In fact, you know, we're struggling. We really don't have a fullback type on our roster. So, you know, we saw that writing on the wall, you know, after the end of last season when we sat down and talked to, you know, our coaching staff. And what we do have is we have a lot of kids, you know, we're pretty deep at wide receiver. And we felt like if we brought some kids along, you know, our Brandon Barone is returning, and Danny Matthews, they're both returning, got some time last year. But we really felt like we have to play to our strengths and our depth. And, you know, you're going to see a different type running game. Obviously, you're going to see a different style from us, up-tempo, no huddle. We're going to try to go as fast as we can go. And it's something that haven't done in the past, haven't liked to really do it in the past, but it's somewhat out of a necessity. And so as we're going through this, you know, we're learning kind of as we're going. I mean, we worked hard in the off season to kind of get a system together, but you know, we're still hashing some things out and ironing some things out, and you know, it's apparent that we made the right move as we're going into a scrimmage tonight. The only back we have really right now is a sophomore back. One of our backs got hurt and may be out for the season, and another back is kind of dinged up right now. So going into our second scrimmage, we're down to a sophomore back that weighs 150 pounds. So you're going to see a different style running game. You're going to see up-tempo. You know, we're going to try to go as fast as we can go to get an advantage.
Defense lost a lot of starters. Now,
yeah.
we
lost 11.
11.
Yeah.
How do you go about replacing that, or what's the mentality now you take to the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, I mean, we've been fortunate the past couple years. I think, I don't know the exact number, but there's a lot of guys in our defensive front that are playing college football right now, and you know, we've been fortunate that way. So we're not going to reinvent ourselves on that side of the ball. It's more a matter of putting the right parts in the right places. You know, there's some kids with some experience. You know, they weren't starters, but there's kids coming back with some experience, and it'll be interesting. You know, we've got to see, you know, what we've got, and you know, there's not a lot of time till our first game. So, you know, tonight's going to be, for us, is going to be a real test in our scrimmage, and hopefully we feel comfortable coming out with the players that are in the positions they're at.
Coach, some players in camp that you've been happy with their progress, that their play so far this camp you want to talk about?
Well, Brandon Leecraft at quarterback's the first one that comes to mind, because Brandon has a lot of ability, and he's really, especially over the past couple days, he's really demonstrated his knowledge of the offense, and it's just a matter of him taking that out onto the field. And in the past, he's had some lulls where if a play goes bad, that carries over for the next few plays, and we're really trying to emphasize that with him. But he's done a really good job mentally. We put a lot on our quarterbacks. They're responsible for all 11 guys, basically, including themselves. So, he's been in the system and has embraced the new system, recognizes that there's a lot of opportunities to make plays. Brandon Barone and Danny Matthews at wide receiver have really been around for 3 years again, and have really played well. They're really solid receivers. At the receiver position, we've had some big kids. We've had Gary Hopkins, we've had Tyleek Freeman, we've had Zamir McDowell, R.J. Sheldon, Andrew Scanlon. These guys are all 6'2", they're all 6'2" or greater. We don't have that anymore. We're kind of the Smurfs at wide receiver, but they're all quick kids, and they have good hands, and they're going to have to make plays for us. I don't know that we can just throw the ball up and let our wide receiver run under it and go up and get it. But those kids have played well too. Defensively, Tim Vu, we're undersized on our defense too, especially our linebackers and secondary. We're not real big, but Tim Vu has worked tremendously hard in the weight room for his opportunity as a senior, and he's going to play Mike for us. Connor Crawford is going to play Sam for us, and those guys have done a really good job. Trey Jarman, who transferred back into Springford, is a corner for us and is going to play really well. So those are some of the guys. The other player that has really stood out, and we're going to ask a lot of him, probably won't come off the field very much, is Stone Scarcella, who's a sophomore. He started a couple games as a freshman at quarterback last year, but he's going to play safety. He's going to play wide receiver, quarterback, running back, probably carry the water in, So we're asking a lot of him, and he was out for the first week of practice, getting over an illness, but he's really stepped up this week, and we're excited to see him tonight at the scrimmage.
Coach, thank you very much, and good luck this season.
All right, appreciate it.
And today we're going to sit down and talk to the head coach of the Phoenixville Phantoms, Evan Brisblatt. Coach, thank you very much for sitting down with us today.
My pleasure.
My first question for you, Coach, is, okay, Coach, you come from another area. What invited you or wanted you to come into the Pac-10 to be a part of this as far as the coaching at Phoenixville?
Well, prior to going to Lancaster, I spent 15 years in District 1 in Chester County in some various schools. And I guess the Pac-10 was next on my list after being in the old SCCL in the Chestmont. And, the reputation for the schools out here is, they're second to none as far as I'm concerned. In the District 1 playoffs in the last couple of years or so, they've really made a lot of noise. So that attracted me. And being involved in the Valor Bowl, I always had the Phoenixville kids usually on our side of the Valor Bowl, and they really drew my attention to coming here.
Coach, you're saying Phoenixville tough. I love it. I think it's an awesome saying. What goes into that now when you try to convey that to your players? What are you trying to convey to them with that?
Well, there's a history here. It's an old steel mill town, hard workers. The reputation has always been Phoenixville doesn't have the biggest kids, but they're going to smack you in the mouth. And guys that I've talked to, from the Billy Thorntons of the world to the Anthony Stavinskys to the Mark Furcos, guys that are on my staff now that have played throughout Phoenixville. I want the guys to realize that, hey, let's bring that back, or if it's still been here, just emphasize how tough we really are and get back to that.
Coach, a couple players that have been impressive in camp so far that you've liked their play and their progress.
Well, it starts with Matt Palabinski. Matt is one of the best athletes I've ever coached, and he's even a better kid, doing all the right things in school, outside of school. He's so athletic. He's very strong, put a lot of time in the weight room. He's going to be a running back, tight end, wide receiver, strong safety, outside linebacker, whatever for us. He's going to do whatever for us and do well at it. Zach Gallo returns as an all-league player on the defensive side of the ball. Zach can be an outstanding linebacker for us. Also, he's moved to offensive guard just because of his sheer size and strength. We needed him up front, and Zach's doing a good job of, learning the position and going 100% at it. Ian Brown has done a nice job at quarterback. He's a junior, spent a little time there last year trying to learn our system. Tommy Hammaker, Mike Chivarelli, they've really contributed a lot so far during camp.
Coach, when you sit down at the end of the year, and again, obviously, I've asked all the coaches this, everybody says wins and losses. We know that as coaches, though, you look at it a little differently. When you look down at the end of the year, what do you want to see accomplished from your first year in this program?
I want us to become the true sense of the word team. When I got here, there's some, dissension among the group, it seemed like. Everybody had their own little facets. I'm trying to bring the boys together, trying to teach them pride, discipline, character. I want to be a competitive football team. And at the end of the year, they would say, hey, man, we played Phoenixville. They're tough. They played us hard the whole game. I can't put wins and losses on our season. Everybody wants to win. All right, but we have to build. I have to build within my program, and it's going to take a little time.
Coach, thank you very much, and good luck this season. Today, we're going to sit down with the head coach of Pottsgrove High School, Rick Petepacker. Coach Petepacker, thank you very much for joining us. Coach, I know you're a very humble person, but I do have to ask you, it had to be an honor for you to have the stadium named after you. And could you just say, what you mean to the school community, the school football community? Tell me what that meant to you.
Well, it meant a lot to me only because, it means that I've had some great kids over the years. It's kind of humbling when you're honored for something that is based on the deeds of other people. And I've had some great kids. I have great assistant coaches. I work in a great school system, work for great people. And, it's very humbling. I never expected it, nor did I want it. I know my athletic director and I are arguing right now because I don't feel like being out there for a dedication before a game. But, it's an honor that I'm very thankful for. I appreciate it, but it's more about the kids and the kids I coach than anything about me, Scott.
Okay, defense. Last year, everyone was talking about your defense and bringing everybody back. Well, now this year, a different story. Okay, what's it going to take to make that defense get back to where you want?
Well, we are right now. We're just working on getting better every day. I think that's every coach's mindset right now. We have a lot of young kids over there, talented kids, but inexperienced. We're just teaching. A lot of coaches like to just drill. We've been teaching kids how to get off block, teaching kids how to tackle, teaching kids how to, not so much schemes, but fundamentals. And I think the last 2 weeks we have improved. I don't know if I've ever had a team that has progressed as much from day one to the present time right now. There's a lot of improvement that they needed to make and a lot of progression that needed to be made. But I think the kids have really improved. Where they are right now, I don't know if they're ready to compete in the Pac-10 or against some very good football teams. But I'm very proud of the way they came back, and they're in shape. And we got some pretty good kids over there. But like I say, I'd rather have some kids with some experience, and we just don't have it right now. So we'll see. My defense coordinator and my defensive coaches have done a tremendous job getting them ready. And I know we're not going to be where we were last year in the first game, but hopefully by the end of the year, these young sophomores and juniors will grow up and they'll build their own tradition back there.
Coach, you want to talk about some players that you've been impressed with camp, or who has made you, you've been happy with their progress so far?
Well, I think when you're up here, it's two guys that impressed me all camp were Patrick Finn and Michael Fowler. Patrick, this is his third year starting. He's got offers from college scholarships right now. He has great speed, great size, and very strong. I think he's been very impressive in the first two scrimmages on both sides of the ball. And Michael Fowler is he's an athlete. I never had a kid that had such strong hands as Michael. Any ball that's in the air, he just grips it and pulls it down. And so I'm very impressed with those guys. And then there's some young kids coming up that I've been very happy with. We got a couple linemen there doing well. Jacob Adams, a junior, who's about 6'2", about 280, has come back in tremendous shape. I'm impressed with him. Madison, Kelsey, and Wyatt Porter, my linebackers, have been playing very well. But they're all juniors and sophomores, so we'll find out how they make out. But right now, we're, knock on wood, we're healthy. We're going into our first game pretty much healthy, and that's been our goal, to get through camp without any injuries, and I think we've done that so far.
Coach Petepacker, thank you very much.
Scott, it's always my pleasure, man. Always my pleasure.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching the Pac-10 Football Preview Show. Well, what are the storylines going to be for 2014? Will it be Pottsgrove, three-peating? Will someone dethrone the champion? Who are going to be the stars of Friday and Saturday night? You'll need to get the answer to all those questions on Pac-10 football action right here on the PCTV network. Let the games begin.